everyone. Andy here from New England on the Fly. I'm sitting here without Ben, who usually is here with me on the beer and gear, but we've decided to do a few fish school lessons, and today it's going to be on spinning rods, so thus we don't have Ben. You have me. I'm the one that runs around to the dark side of the fishing spinning rod, so here I am to give you a couple of tips. Thought it would be really helpful to give you my opinion on sort of the best rod to fish false albacore with, the pros and cons of the various rods, but particularly the St. Croix Avid, which I love, is my recommended rod, and we can talk about why. But first got to start with what we're fishing for. The false albacore is an incredibly strong fish. It's got a visual feed, so when you see the false albacore, you're going to see it up on the surface. You're not always going to be able to get it on the surface, meaning it's not going to blow up your fly like a striped bass might right on the surface, or a bluefish might hit your plug up on the surface. But all of your, or most of your false albacore fishing is going to be visual. You're going to see them blowing up and you're going to cast into them. And every once in a while, if they're right next to the boat, you may see a take, but for the most part, you're going to see the flurry going on. Huge adrenaline rush, you're going to chase them hard because of that. Lastly, you're going to find out that these fish are fast moving. They're going to be flying around. So if you're out in a boat, you're going to see them 100 yards to your left, and then it seems like in a second or two, they're going to be in front of you, and then 2 seconds later, they're gone. So you need to be able to react. You need to be able to get your lure out to them. You need to get your fly out to them in a hurry. And as a result of that, that's what some of the analysis goes into, what type of rod you want to be fishing with. So my choice, as a result of those sort of 3 fishing characteristics we were talking about, is the St. Croix Avid. It is and specifically a 7-foot medium weight fast action tip Avid. And there's a couple of things that go into my sort of process for choosing the 7-foot Avid. And one is that for the most part you're going to be fishing on a boat, although a lot of you will do some beach stuff. But when I'm talking about the boat fishing, you need to be quick. You need to be able to redirect your cast in a hurry. Going back to the fact that the fish are fast, they're going to be coming at you from all different directions. You're going to be sighting them and you're going to be running up onto them, or sort of laying in wait, and all of a sudden they're going to bust up and you need to move fast. So the 7-foot allows you to redirect your cast pretty quickly, allows you to cast lefty, righty, over the boat, around the backside, sort of bumping into your buddies on the boat, all things that I think are useful. Better than an 8-footer. I love the 8-foot off the beach, but I would go with a 7-foot or a 6.6 if I'm on the boat, so that's why I choose the 7. As you know, St. Croix comes in a couple of setups. My favorite one is the medium, so 7-foot medium, and it is a fast action tip. So the 7-foot medium is the one step below the medium heavy, and with the medium you get to sort of cast both a 1/2 ounce lure, 5/8 ounce lures up to about a 2 ounce. It is not rated exactly for that, but that's my experience on these. And all of those lures are perfect for false albacore. Sometimes they're chasing little tiny fish, and you're casting a little 5/8 inch or 5/8 ounce lure, or a 1/2 ounce lure. You know, there's for instance, you got yourself a couple of the Hoagie. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you got yourself a couple of the Hoagie epoxy jigs, and they come in all different sizes. Great little lure. We can talk about that on the next episode. But this rod will cast that perfectly. Medium will cast it better than a medium heavy, although sometimes you might wish you're having a medium heavy when you latch on to some of these fish. As I told you, they're really strong fish. As it relates to action, so the St. Croix rod that I look at comes in 2 choices of action as far as I'm concerned with for a false albacore, and that is a medium action or a fast action. So the fast action means that the tip is where all of the bend occurs, and that will give you a quicker sort of snap on the cast, a little bit of smaller casting arc to sort of get your lure out there quicker. And it'll give you a little bit more action on your lure as you're working it. False albacore don't really need a lot of action. They're pretty straight reeling lure, but you know, you get something out of the quick cast piece of it. Now, on the other hand, if you wanted to go with a medium instead of the fast action, so the medium will bend more down here into the middle of the rod, so you'll have more of the bend coming down here than up on the top. And what that does is give you a little bit more backbone in your rod. So if you were going to go with a medium weight and then a medium action, you're going to get some better backbone, because as I said earlier, the false albacore is a pretty strong fish, as you probably all know. It also is a fish that will take a fair amount of line, and it will sort of scream your reel, and all of those things are going to be adding to your adrenaline fix. So that's probably why you're watching this. The last thing about the St. Croix that I really like is, if you take a look at this reel seat here, get the cork on the top side of it. Some of the reel seats don't have any of the cork, or very little cork up top. My preference actually is I grab the rod with 2 or 3 fingers up on top side of the reel, so having the cork on the top side I think is really helpful, especially when you're landing some of the real screaming fish. So that's it for today as it relates to the rod choices. We're going to talk about lure choices at some point. You'll see a video coming up about that. Again, we're talking about a super strong fish, a super fast fish, and a real visual experience. So you're thinking about a rod that can move fast, that can cast fast, but has enough backbone to land these fish. Hey, thanks everyone for watching today. Please leave a comment below if you have any suggestions of future shows or a better rod choice for false albacore. We'd love to see it, and I'm sure others who watch this would like to see it as well. Also, please subscribe. I did the subscription radio.